There's really little that I can add to Rena and Janice and Sylvia's words that we've heard so eloquently about my amazing mother-in-law. So I'm going to try to do something different and use my limited time to talk about the special relationship that we had over 41 years. Rena and I were dating in college in 1978 and decided it was a good time for me to meet Jerry and Florence. I definitely wanted to impress them on this first visit, so I decided to dress to impress. I made sure to wear my very best pair of worn jeans. Florence would later say that in fact I arrived in torn jeans. Honestly, this is entirely possible because they were my favorites at the time. I wore my fry boots, denim jacket, made sure my very long curly hair looked just right, and headed out to Bethpage. Anyone who knows the Foxes at all knows that I arrived to Jerry blasting classical music from those massively large speakers in the living room. Fortunately, he was not conducting on this occasion in his favorite boxers. The infamous boxers would come later in our relationship. The house was filled with the delicious fragrance of whatever Florence had cooking on the stove. Man, that woman could cook. When I greeted Florence, I gave her a big hug and promptly told her that I hoped she would like me since I was going to marry her daughter. I don't know why I said it. It just came out. To say her reaction was not positive is a major understatement. If she didn't cry, she was damn close. If you think about it, it was not an unreasonable reaction on her part. I was 1 year behind Rena in college, a junior, all of 21, and I was anything but what she hoped for in a future husband for her daughter. I guess you would safely say that this was the nadir of what would become a long and beautiful relationship. I did, in fact, marry Rena, obviously, as I predicted, in November of 1979, and allaying Florence's concerns about my ability to support and care for her daughter at the ripe old age of 22, I was able to secure 2 very exciting job offers upon graduating college. One in cosmopolitan Missoula, Montana. The other in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Her response when we told her was, "Are you serious?" Quickly followed by, "Well, that'll be an adventure for 2 of you." Despite the inauspicious start, a move to Kalamazoo, followed by a move to Asheville, North Carolina, our relationship began to develop into something special. Florence and Jerry visited us in Asheville, and Florence became one of my biggest supporters and cheerleaders. She wanted to know everything. What was the work I was doing? Was I challenged enough? How did the investments in our business work, and how did we evaluate them? She genuinely wanted to hear it all. Always starting our conversation with, "Tell me something good." Later in my career, she would tell me how proud she was of me, and I knew she meant it. She would pull me aside and say, "I don't know how you do it. 3 children, a big home, and all that traveling and stress." She always made me promise her that I was taking care of myself. For some reason, at a certain part of their lives, she and Dad developed a love for baseball. Not just baseball, but as you heard, the Yankees. And now we bonded in a new special way. They loved watching the Yanks on TV in the den. Dad with his Yankees hat on. Florence just fell in love with the game. Baseball is like life, she'd say to me. You never know how the game will go. The key is to never give up and try to find a way to win. She loved it all of the strategy. We talked about the players and how they did, ERAs, batting averages. She particularly liked the players that hustled. Brett Gardner is a hustler, she'd say. And even though his average is falling, I'd take him anytime. We agreed on that one. Mom didn't just love the Yankees like a normal fan would. She entered contests about it. She won a Yankee jacket, a baby Jeter, a Yankees hat. She would call and say, guess what I won? I would literally shake my head and say, how did she even know about this? She admired Joe Torre and thought he was a great leader. She loved Jeter. She liked the way Pettit battled when he didn't have his best stuff. She adored Mariana. Somewhere along the way, she gave me Commissioner Giamatti's famous book on baseball, A Great and Glorious Game. She said, read it, which of course I did, and we talked about it. She loved that book, so did I. She watched every single game she could. You knew not to call her during the game. There was no way she would talk to you. And that continued her whole life. That was her special time with the Yankees, and baseball became our mutual love. She called me, I called her. Who's pitching today, Mom? She'd know. He's been pitching well lately, she'd say, or I'm a little worried. He's walking too many batters. One of my highlights with Mom and Dad was when Rena and I took them to Yankee Stadium. I wanted it to be special. We had second row seats on the field. I wanted them to get an official game ball. And one of the ball boys obliged me when I told them it was their first trip to the stadium. Rena and I have the photo of the four of us in our home, with Dad holding the ball. And of course, so does Mom. It is one of the many small experiences that we share. Small compared to the wonderful, important ones, but they are memories I treasure nonetheless. Some of them were just for the two of us. At a certain point in our lives, I can't say for sure when, Florence ended every telephone conversation with me with the simple words, I love you, Stephen. I hope you know that. I would reply, I love you too. And she'd say, yes, I know you do. Perhaps it was each of these conversations that represented the zenith of our relationship. I'll miss you, Mom. I know you and Dad will be watching the Yankees together this postseason. We could really use some help against the Astros. And I hope you know I love you too.